Hey all. Okay, so yesterday we did the break-in procedure on the Titan 210. As I mentioned yesterday, we're going to let it cool overnight cold, and then we can torque the cylinder head, the prop, check things over, and we'll also check with a 13/16 socket the spark plug just to see how our color is starting to look. I mentioned starting to look because it will really take a 15-minute flight to really start to put some color on a new plug. Regarding the spark plug, I keep getting calls from people who keep putting new spark plugs in. We're looking for that color. And once you have some color, it takes less time to alter that color if you make a carburetor adjustment. So please quit putting new plugs in. My last 125 went 335 hours with 2 spark plugs. So please think about that. Tools you need: 5mm Allen and a good torque wrench. Don't get skimpy and buy a cheap torque wrench. 13mm socket is used to go on the torque wrench to torque the head, and it's also used to remove the cooling shroud bolts. So we'll get started with torquing the head first. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is remove the cooling shroud nuts. Be sure to not over tighten these. They are nylon lock nuts. You should probably replace them every now and then, okay? But I don't want you to crack the shroud, nor do I want you to crack the nylon washers that support the shroud. Notice that on the temperature gauge, there are only 3 or 4 wraps. Do not go more than 4 wraps, as it can rob the spark plug cable of voltage and make your engine run rough. I'll get through this as quickly as I can without stopping the video. Okay, removing the spark plug boot. Don't grab it here, grab it here, and wiggle it out. I'm being very careful because honestly this is a little harder than normal, okay? All right, so carefully remove the shroud. It fits tight, but it comes off pretty easy. The next thing to do is remove these bolts here, or nuts here. They support the cooling shroud, and that's a 15mm. They're not going to be torqued down. Just make them good and snug. They are aluminum, so again, don't torque them down too much. Okay. On your torque wrench, I've preset this to 160 pounds. 185 pounds is what you should be torquing it to. I like to use less torque initially in case there's any problem with the torque wrench and what I'm tightening doesn't quite feel right, and I can stop without damaging or breaking a stud. Secondly, it gives me kind of a guess as to how much these nuts possibly loosened in the motor's initial break-in. Hold it straight, firm. See, it did move a little bit. There's 160. That moved a little bit as well. The exhaust side will always be a little looser than the intake side. See how carefully I'm going? Good. Now I'm going to go up, unlock it, and I'm going to go up to 180. If you guys have any questions, feel free to give us a call and we can walk you through some of this. But in reality, the manual is very, very accurate and very thorough. I've gotten a lot of compliments on that lately. As I get older, it's a little harder to read the torque wrench, but there is 185. Doesn't really matter where you start. Good. 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 I'm not moving this at all. I'm just double checking the click on the torque wrench. I really like the Sears torque wrenches like this. They're reasonably priced, but they've held up very good. Unlock and back it off. The next thing I'm going to torque is the prop, and I'm going to do that at 110. So I'll just go ahead and preset that. Good. And that will be the 5mm. I'm going to go ahead and just do that. Good. Again, a star type of pattern. The Helix Prop here has basically had zero compression, which is really good. Now somebody tells me I just missed one. I'm going to eat my hat, so I'm going to go all the way back around again. All right, prop is good. The head torque is good. Now, I'm going to go ahead and check the spark plug. Okay, here's one thing that I just checked and is not good. Whenever you put these on, use a pair of pliers and tighten them down, or tighten this down tight. Okay? As good as this spark plug cap is that we utilize, it means nothing if this vibrates and comes off. So this is my bad here, and I will get a pair of pliers and tighten that down. Be careful of your sensor here. Sometimes you have to bend it out just slightly. Hold the spark plug wrench tight to here. You don't want it moving up and down. Okay, so I was curious about what the cylinder head torque was, and that was about normal. Remember, you're compressing two gasket surfaces, an O-ring here and a base gasket here with the 4 nuts. So you will get a little bit more compression of those gaskets. All right, so let's take a good look at this plug. I'm really liking what I'm seeing right now. We'll take some pictures of this plug so you can see. It's got some really nice color. It's a little bit rich, but as we discussed earlier, we send the motors out a little bit rich. So this is a motor that's breaking in really nicely. Very uniform in color. It's a little on the rich side, but frankly, I'm not going to make any carburetor adjustments I'm going to go fly this machine tomorrow morning, and then we will go through checking the spark plug procedure again. But very, very clean burn. Very few particulates, in fact none, and no signs of overheating. It's not a lean condition for sure. All right, it's time to torque the spark plug down, and it's about 18 Newton meters in inch pounds. That's about 160 inch pounds or so. Remember, everything is inch pounds, okay? Do not go foot pounds. It's done. Don't forget to back off your torque wrench all the way. And what was I not going to forget? Tightening this down. There we go. Okay. Check the sensor. Everything's looking really good. Now let's put this puppy back together, and I'm really excited to fly it tomorrow. Remember, these are aluminum. Just snug them up. They're not going anywhere. Okay. I was wondering why one of these went on further than another. So they are adjustable. You have an Allen wrench that can fit there, and you can move them in and out. So don't tighten them by the bolt itself. Tighten them by the nut. When you put your nylon lock nut on, you want 2 threads to be showing through the nylon minimum, okay? And these, you want to make sure that you've got enough of the aluminum nut on the stud, the steel stud. So in other words, enough threads of the aluminum onto that stud. Okay, remember how these go? Steel first, nylon second, look everything over and make sure that it's all on there properly. The bigger portion of the cooling shroud goes towards the prop. The Helix Prop is designed to draw air through this shroud, thus cooling the motor more efficiently. You see here we have one stud that is not coming through as far as the others are. Let's see what it looks like with the lock nut on it. Don't forget the washer. And I think you can see right now that that will not work. Neither will that one. Do make sure that they're all the way tight, which they were. So now off comes the shroud. Oops. Okay, I'm going to have to back the stud out of the aluminum a little bit. Perhaps you can see inside. There's plenty of threads in there. I've left it just a little bit loose so I can adjust it after the shroud is on. That one looks pretty good. Okay, so put your washers with the nylon facing the shroud on. Again, the bigger portion, the bigger opening of the shroud goes towards the propeller. Don't be afraid to flex it a little bit. It is carbon. It's strong. Remember to make sure that she's flush and she's sitting really nice. Okay. Nylon washers. This one I feel needs to come out a little bit, so I'm going to go ahead and back it out a little bit. Okay. Now we'll tighten this down and finish things up. Remember, look how I'm holding this very lightly. Don't over torque these things. Check that your clearances are all good. This is looking really good. And let's put the spark plug cap back on. From the end of the cap, just wiggle it on and then use the palm of your hand to put it on, and then I take it and I push the rubber insulator down as well. Looking good. All right. We've done the really important stuff, but there's something left that's important, or equally as important. We're going to give this thing a good look over to make sure that everything is where it's supposed to be, everything is tight, and it's called a pre-flight check, because tomorrow I get to fly it. This is a bearing check. There should be very little play here. Always put the prop vertically. Belt tension. We're using a new silicone pad instead of the rubber one. Very happy with this. It's more sticky, and it's working quite well, and I think it looks pretty good. New carbon fiber silencer. Notice here, the bolts are long enough to where you have 2 aircraft grade steel lock nuts on there. 2 aircraft grade steel lock nuts. Check your starter connections. These have been zip tied around and are very secure. Check all your bolts. Make sure nothing has come loose. Pipe clearance on the frame is good. Nuts securing the exhaust pipe to the rubber mounts looks really good. Really keep track of your throttle too, or keep a good eye on your throttle cable. Make sure that that is properly attached. It stays properly attached, and there's no way for you to actually tug on it and kink your throttle cable. Airbox, secure. Standoff with a zip tie, secure. Remember, just looking at things and moving on to the next thing isn't a proper pre-flight check. I look and I see, okay? Also keep your engines clean. You keep your engine clean, you're gonna find out or find a problem before it becomes an actual problem. Battery bag is properly secured. This is a good time to perhaps tighten your Velcros and make sure that they're all tight. How tight your Velcro is important because when your frame is held tight together, it creates a much stronger diaphragm. So don't allow your frame to become loose. And don't be afraid to really pull on them and get them nice and tight. I'm a safe pilot and I don't like there to be any type of issues with my own equipment and frankly none of you customers as well. Well, that's pretty much it. Everything looks great. In the morning I will pre-flight it again even though I haven't touched the equipment between now and then. Tomorrow morning we're going to go for a great flight. The key to tomorrow is, one, I'm going to go up and enjoy the flight, but it's only 15 minutes. I'm going to land, have that spark plug wrench ready, pull that spark plug and check for the color. Now is when we start to dial in the tune of the engine. In other words, we're going to start bringing that spark plug into the color, the nice dark tan that we're looking for. I think y'all should be pretty curious because that plug looks really good right now. Yes, it's a little bit rich, but let's see what it does after a flight. After an actual 15-minute flight, let's see what that spark plug color is. Okay, thanks for watching.